What's up, traders? This is Vee Trades, and today I will be doing a technical analysis breakdown for strategy with the ticker symbol MSTR. I will first be going over what I see in the daily chart and finish the video off with the weekly chart. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Please trade at your own risk. So let's take a look at MSTR. Well, it's another down day, not surprising at all. I think the last time we had a green day was, it's been a while, right? I don't think we had a green day for the most part, basically since October, late October. Yeah, there were some green candles. And yeah, we did have a little maybe green day on Friday, November 7th, maybe like a small gain. But since then, it's just been dropping like a rock. It's pretty impressive, the strength of this downtrend, right? We couldn't even see a bounce back over here. Historically, this was support at 230s, and price just barely got a bounce, and we just sliced right through it. So that just tells you the strength of this trend. It's very bearish, and we're still in this downtrend channel. You can see that we were in this wider one, and then we went in a steeper one. So there's a lot of lines on the chart. We can go and remove them. I think we'll remove them for now, these horizontal ones, until it comes back into play. We can move the trend line is broken and invalidated for a while now. We can leave the mesh with target for now. I think that's important. And we can remove this channel right here. Okay, so this is what we need to focus on. See how we have a macro range pattern that we just broke outside of. And then we have a measure move target at the 143 level. And bears are looking like they want to get there. Yes, we can have a counter trend rally anytime now because we're overextended, but we've been overextended for a while now. So this is basically a very strong trend. Whenever you see price trading parallel to that EMA and not pulling back to it, that's a very strong trend. So it might just get to the 140s before then we can see a bounce, right? We probably won't see a bounce until we get to the 140s. That's what it's looking like, right? Every day has been pretty much red. Bitcoin is not really bouncing either. And everyone keeps on saying, oh, if Bitcoin goes up, should an MSTR go up? Well, MSTR has been going down since July, but Bitcoin has not been going down since July. It's been mostly sideways, and now all of a sudden it's starting to go down. So they're not 100% correlated. So this will get so low, in my opinion, like the 140s, where it will be too much damage on the stock price, where even if Bitcoin does rally, which I think it will, it probably will just come back to the 240s, maybe retest the lows of the range, and then sell off once again towards my box of $100 to about $50, my target for this bottom in this bear market. And that could take about a year to play out, right? That's what the vertical line represents. That's the end of next year, 2026. This month is practically over, right? We have a holiday coming up next week. Is basically almost over. So we have one more real month left, December. And again, I don't think this is going to be doing anything impressive the remainder of the year. So we'll see what happens. But as right now, MSTR, a lot of damage on the stock price. I still really like it long term. I think it's still I think it's better than NVIDIA, in my opinion, right? I think this company will be the most valuable company in the planet because of how much Bitcoin they own, which is more than 3%, I believe, of the total supply. So they should in the future, if everything works out, with Bitcoin, be the most valuable company because they own 3% of the total supply of the monetary network. So can you believe how powerful that will be? So I think, yes, long term is still very good, but we want to buy things. Well, I personally want to buy things at the best price possible. I could buy right now and, hold on for 4 years. It won't really matter. But you can get way more shares, more than double the amount of shares if you just wait till $100, and then even quadruple the amount of shares if you just wait till $50, right? Instead of buying one for 200, you could buy four for $50 instead of that one for 200. So you can see how much you can get just by waiting. And I think the price is leading towards the downside, right? It's indicating that I don't think this is the bottom. That's just not how the market works, right? Can it bottom here and we see a strong rally? Yes, that's always possible. But even if we do that, I don't think it's going to go that much up higher, right? We can retest the highs and still find resistance, see a double top, and then come back down to where price was expected to go at the end of the day. So even if we do see something like this, it can get back down here. We don't know exactly how it's going to get there. It can do this. It can do this. It can do this and then crash later. Like, we don't know, but it's tracking towards this very low price level between $100 and $50. And I think that's where it's headed. Can you imagine picking up $50,000 worth of shares at $50? So that's 1,000 shares times $50 a share is $50,000. And if you hold that just the prior all-time high, if you just hold it just to the prior all-time high, and if we do rally, that is $500,000, right? It's a 10x off your $50 stock price. It went from $50 to 500. That's a 10x. 50,000 invested is $500,000. So that's pretty nice, and that's all hypothetical numbers, right? Obviously, it might not get to all-time highs. It might not stop at 50. We might not even get at 50. We can just rally from here. So we don't know what's going to happen, but this is all theoretical. Like if price is tracking towards, sub 100, I think when it's all said and done, we see $50 at the end of the cycle, then you can pick up 25,000. I'm not saying, your money, like how much you have. I'm just giving you a number, right? Let's say you put $10,000 in at $50 a share and it 10x's, it just goes up. All it has to do is retest the highs. That's a 10x gain. That's $100,000. So it's pretty impressive, the multiple you can get, just like people got, MSTR back here at the $20s, $30, $40, $50. They made up a lot of money, right? And it looks like we could be in for another opportunity for that in the future. And that's just to retest the prior high. What if it goes to $1,000, right? I mean, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but again, all theoretical. We'll see what happens. But MSTR is still bearish. A counter trend rally to this bear market is on the table very shortly. Maybe at 140, 150, or maybe even now, but I don't think it's going to lead to anything crazy. It's still pretty much bearish. We're still below the channel, still below the trend line, still below the range support. So MSTR overall still bearish, right? I'm waiting for lower prices. I don't want to buy right now. I think even if I do miss out, let's say we do retest the highs, well, I don't care because I'm pretty sure it's going to still come crashing back down, even if we were to do that. I don't think it's going to come up here while Bitcoin is crashing and stay up here. That's not likely, right? It's most likely going to be multiplied of what Bitcoin does typically. So let's take a look at Bitcoin now. Bitcoin, there's a lot of things I put on this chart, and I'm going to explain almost everything. But first, I want to go over something with Bitcoin. It hit 95% of the total supply that will ever exist, right? 95% has been mined, and this is the circulating supply. It's 95% of the max supply. Can you believe that, right? Only 5% remaining, which is practically nothing. MSTR owns 3%. Another company can come in and get 1 or 2%. Even like, let's say a handful of companies can get 5%. So you could just say all the Bitcoin, is like out already pretty much. So whatever the price is, I think it's not going to get that much lower, right? I mean, yeah, we're going to have bear markets, but just think about that, right? This thing they're not going to create any more, right? Yes, 5% more, but I'm just saying that'll take 115 years, 2140 for the last one to be mined. So you're basically going to get nothing for the next 100 years. So whatever you see right now is basically what you would get. So whatever you have, it's almost like a floor, right? I'm not saying Bitcoin won't go lower, it will, but I'm saying it's a pretty long shot, right, to get it at a really low price anymore because of what the scarcity is now. So back to the chart. So what's going on for Bitcoin? Well, it's doing what we have done 2 times before. So this is the third potential time, right? So the other time was back over here. So you see that price was in a range pattern from about March of 2024 to about August of 2024 when it bottomed out. What happened was we doubled the range, right? We were in this trading range. It was this size, and then we doubled it, right? And then when we doubled it, price hit the bottom of that measurement target of the range, and then we saw a very strong rally. And that was about a 33% drop from the high of the range to the low of the range. So basically, we were in a range, we doubled it, we hit the lows of the target, of the measurement target, and that was a 31% decline, 33% decline, and then we saw a very strong rally. And then moving on in the future, right, we went from another range from December of 2024 to about April of this year, and we were in a range pattern, as you can see here. And then we double the range, right? You just double the size of it. This was the original size range, and then you double it. And what do you get? You see price bouncing near the lows. It hit the measurement target, and then we saw a rally, and that was about a 31% drop. So it had a repeat pattern of the prior pattern. Now we're kind of doing the same thing again. Now we'll see if it plays out or not, but we're kind of doing the same thing. We were in a range from about July of 2025, potentially ending maybe this month or next month. We double the range. We hit the target already, so we're bouncing around that level. Yes, we can go slightly lower into the high 80s. That's not a big deal. and that would take it to about 30% drop. So is that a coincidence at all that this is a very similar pattern playing out? Plus, we are at this bullish side of the channel, right? So this is a channel that price is moving inside of, right? We go from the highs to lows, lows to the highs, lows to the highs, highs to lows, right? We're right near the lows with a very similar pattern playing out previously once right here, twice, and potentially the third time. So Bitcoin, again, I'm still very bullish, right? I still think it has an opportunity, right? We will draw the line when it goes into like the $70,000 level, right? I think that's a little too low. That's really too low to kind of change things. Yes, it can still recover, but it starts looking a lot more bearish, right? When it starts getting that low, it might just not recover. But this is still not anything to be worried about, right? Yes, it's still in a downtrend. We want to see it bottom, see what kind of bounce we get. If it breaks the downtrend, I think it's going to be off to the races to new highs. So very soon. It's hard to say when. Timing is impossible, but we can say, with some probability that it's going to be very soon, right? Probably end of this month, maybe even early next month. I don't think it's going to take that long, but it's definitely not going to take. It's just been a very slow type of trend, right? The personality has been very choppy and slow. So when it bottoms here, I think we'll probably see a new high, but that might take it into Q1 and Q2. April 1st is a potential top time, right? If I were to give it a time, I think it will drag into, early next year. And that's if we get up higher, right? It's all of it. It just depends on the type of bounce we get right over here, right? If it's a very weak bounce, call it over, and we're going to roll over towards the lows. If we see a strong reversal or strong buying develop, higher highs, higher lows, then we're probably going to retest the highs and most likely even exceed them. So that's what Bitcoin is telling me right now. It's been doing what it has been doing. There's nothing out of the ordinary. I think it's definitely way too early to call this a top, just because it's still in an uptrend, and the uptrend, it has not been invalidated yet. So it still looks bullish long term. Short term, yes, it has been bearish, but overall, Bitcoin's still looking pretty good to the upside. One more chart I want to look at is this one right here. Let's go to the log chart. This is Bitcoin on the all-time historical index, so basically all the price history that's available. And if we look at this chart, this goes all the way back to about 2009, right? And the low was back here in 2009 as well. So we can do a measure move target of that leg up. So we have a low point right here, and then we put the arrow right to the top of the move, which looks to be right about July 2011, right? So this is all one large impulse up. If you look at a line chart, it's gonna look like one large leg up. See how clean that fits? And then if you go back to the candle, it's one leg up, right? So now we can duplicate that arrow. Let's clone it, move it to the bottom of the correction, because we did not go below this low ever in history, right? But once they hit $2, we never went below it or retested it. And this would tell you where it's tracking towards in the future, right? And it's right near where we are at. See this measurement target? See how well that's fitting? One leg up, pull back, second leg up. Yes, it took pretty much more than a decade to finally get there, but you can see that that line was eventually hit, right? So now since it was hit, it looks like we're coming back to test it, right? Looks like, see, this is the line off the measurement target. Yes, it's give or take a couple thousand, but I think it was right around 88,000 if I drew it more accurately using like a weekly chart. But anyway, it's right around this area. So what I'm saying is that this long-term measurement target was reached. That's why we have been seeing, price kind of stall out here, and a lot of long-term holders, taking profits because they're looking at the technicals too, and this is a good technical target to get out at. But we pushed above it, and it looks like we're coming back to test it for some sort of support. So all I'm saying is that, yes, it makes sense why we have been seeing price not move up higher off of this $100,000 level for a while now. And it looks like we're coming back to test it, the 90,000, high 80s, because of this measurement target. And then let's see what happens right there, right? So again, this is like, it could be drawn a little bit differently, but I think I did it off the $88,000 level. So we could see high 80s. I would not be worried about that, but it just needs to reverse, quickly out of there. So Bitcoin, it looks like it just, to me, we're still following this nice long-term trend line on the log scale. We have not broken it. So we're still above the EMA there. We're still above the trend line, and it still looks pretty good on the log scale. So I just wanted to cover that chart as well. The all-time historical index, basically we hit a long-term target, and we're pulling back to test it now. We're still above the trend line on the log scale as well on the monthly. And let's take a look at this chart right here. Gold's price by Bitcoin's price. It hit the target, just waiting for a drop. It's an exponential move up higher. This thing does not last a long time. So that can lead to a potential reversal in Bitcoin, right? Or potential rotation from gold into Bitcoin. Maybe it won't exactly work out that way, but overall, it's coming to an end as of right now. It looks like Bitcoin will start outperforming gold very soon. I'm not saying it's guaranteed, but it looks like it is, right? We have Bitcoin bottoming out like it has before, potentially, while this gold ratio is at its highest point in a while now, and it's kind of blowing off, has a blow off top to it. So it looks like it's kind of reversing soon with Bitcoin potentially bottoming. So, I mean, it's just kind of all coming together, and it would make complete sense for that pattern to play out. Again, it's all just patterns, and we'll see if it plays out or not. And then Bitcoin's price divided by MSTR's price gets you this ratio. It's still climbing up, right? It still looks very strong. It looks like it wants to take off towards this 636 ratio point. Looks like it's getting more exponential, right? The trend is getting steeper and steeper. It looks like it's getting stronger and stronger. So we'll see what happens. But overall, that's all I have for MSTR. Last but not least, we'll take a look at the weekly chart. Again, like I said before, 6 red weeks in a row, most likely you get a 7th one, right? The number 7 seems to be important. I don't have any data to back that, but typically that's what I've seen. So probably this week might be another red week, and we'll see what happens. It could be green, but I think it seems likely to be red. But anyway, a lot of damage has been done on this stock in terms of uptrend continuing. Yes, we can see rallies, but that would be counter trend to the downtrend, right? Even if we do see a move up higher towards $300, that's still a pullback relative to this huge move down right here. And yeah, weekly chart looks like looks like it's reversing. Very similar structure playing out like last cycle, right? It looks like we're right about here in terms of the last cycle. So even if we do see a rally, which I think is coming, that's probably when Bitcoin's going up. So this is right here, this rally right here, I think will happen to MSTR now, but that's after BTC goes up, right? This is when MSTR hits 150 right over here, and then it goes up like this. But Bitcoin's at new all-time highs. This one is just damage control at that point, and then it finally sees the crash when Bitcoin starts crashing right here. So BTC right here, BTC goes down, like it crashes. So we'll see if that plays out, but it looks very similar pattern to what happened before, and it has been pretty much on point. So with it, having that reversal, I think that's probably when Bitcoin starts its move up higher, and that's when you see this chart right here really take off to the upside, this outperformance. That's when you'll get it, right? When MSTR is really down and it's not able to recover that much, but Bitcoin is still, in a potential uptrend, right? So we'll see what happens. All I have today is Vee Trades, and thank you for your time.